The idea of Daredevil being this figure that comes out all the way to the sidewalk just to rip criminals straight out of the light and into the shadows makes him feel like the myth he is. And now I'm wondering what it would look like if Daredevil randomly had a crossover episode with the Bear. This is where my mind goes. What's wrong? Anyway, helping the people that help you.
Call 911.
He's talking to this guy with a whole windshield between them, but Daredevil still speaks softly and the guy still understands. He doesn't even bother using the shadows because he wants to inspire fear in the thug by showing that he doesn't even need to be stealthy and he can still take him down. Also, he's probably pissed that that guy opened fire in a church. He's so proud of himself. Always have pride in your work.
One and done. End of the night, she hugged me like a cousin and said, I'll call you.
Brutal.
This friendship still exists.
Could you imagine Nelson and Murdoch on the dance floor?
The fact that the season doesn't end with this is worth taking off a win, but I'll be forgiving.
You're bleeding.
Huh. Where?
Base of the skull.
I'm glad Foggy does this since he's still Matt's friend, but just because the previous season ended with them as friends doesn't mean he's automatically okay with everything Matt does as Daredevil.
You ever stop to think what happens if you get caught? At best, you'll be disbarred.
Then you'll continue to do the good work we started together.
Oof, end of the season foreshadowing.
Marino's dog was viciously beaten by his neighbor after the dog defiled the neighbor's statue of St. Francis.
Defiled?
Humped repeatedly until completion.
That's a dog I want to defend.
We're broke.
We'll manage. I don't know how, but I know we will.
Well, in the meantime, I guess we have lots of pastries and fruit.
Yeah.
And each other.
Aw, priorities.
Miserable mutt.
Alliteration.
There was a time when the Irish owned Hell's Kitchen.
Andy Murray kind of steals the show for a little bit, and he's only on screen for a few minutes. He alone makes me want to see more of the Irish before they're killed off. Ooh, some hinting at Daredevil being there, except they pull the rug out from under us, since it's actually not Daredevil, it's the Punisher.
She's as quick as she is beautiful.
Compliments.
She reminds me of myself.
Self-love. You know I gotta give him another win for... I'm not gonna say chemistry, I've already said that a million times already. What are some synonyms for chemistry? Attraction? Magnetism? Desire? Oh, screw it. Chemistry.
I leave you two alone for 1 minute.
She wanted to teach me.
This whole dynamic where Foggy's like chaperoning these two this season is such a good decision.
It was a massacre. We weren't hit by any rival family there. I'm telling you, we were hit by an army.
This whole one-man army motif for the Punisher is also one that I love, especially with the fact that he was in the military, so the name makes sense.
Well, we have a reputation for representing the good people of Hell's Kitchen, not for negotiating on behalf of career criminals.
What if a criminal wants to change his career? A second chance, that's all I want.
A nice little setup for the whole second chances conversation with Frank in a couple episodes.
Sheesh. Every time I think we've seen it all, Hell's Kitchen manages to sneak up.
Now might be a good time to mention the cinematography and the general look for this season. I think it's perfect. It sticks close to the first season's visuals, but with less film grain and a more digital look, which usually would be considered a bad thing, but the colors are still as vibrant as ever. And while this season still uses a handheld camera a lot, it's not as shaky as the first season overall, and the presentation is just a cleaner version of last season, which is all I really needed it to be.
Read about it in the papers like everybody else.
We're not everybody else, my man.
Did you just say my man?
Foggy. I still love you, but seriously?
Not the kind of guys you challenge to a fist fight in your underwear.
It's not underwear, Foggy. Underwear is comfortable.
I'm glad this show lets out his quippier side and makes sure to show that Matt Murdock isn't supposed to feel just like a red Batman with no cape.
Pull the trigger myself.
You need to listen to me,
No,
Steve.
you listen to me, you
trust
daft women.
Why does he go into the British accent there? You daft woman.
Daft women.
Damn, Turk gets it really bad this season.
Military-grade firepower. High volume.
Ooh, love that shine in his eyes from the lighting. It reminds me of a character from an animated show that I can't quite put my finger on.
Maybe just let a brother go, huh? Come on, D. I'm out on parole, man.
First mistake was calling him D.
A couple years ago, I helped a guy named Foster.
Not one of ours.
Ricky Wax!
Shut up.
I helped a guy named Pope.
Third time's a charm.
Get the hell out of here. Now.
What happened to Smitty?
You serious?
I came here for a reason. I just need answers.
Foggy's balance of courage and fear for his life is just perfect.
Whoever they are, we're gonna find them. And when we do, you want to be very far away from the action.
The fact that this gang member warns Foggy to stay safe and Matt saves this cartel member gives us some sympathy for the gangs being butchered, which is another way the show gives you every perspective and their motivations. Ooh, backs of heads get me so hyped, especially when it's John Bernthal's. You can kind of see that even if Grotto and Karen didn't turn to the right there, Frank aimed perfectly so that only Grotto would have been hit. Also, Frank is such an intimidating presence in this scene, and that makes him seem like a slasher villain with his stoic nature and laser-sharp focus. Well, now the stunt coordinators and the actors / stunt doubles are just showing off. Frank keeping up with the slasher villain look by only speed walking here and not running.
Bang.
These episode endings, like I said, if they came out weekly, I would have lost my mind.
You some kind of idiot? Yeah.
Honesty.
I'm gonna put on some pants.
No.
I agree with Foggy. You're perfectly fine without pants, Matt. I love the progression of their arguments through this season and the last. The first big fight they had was so emotionally charged, with them rethinking their friendship and everything. And since it's still an unresolved conflict, this fight here gets a little more physical, and then their next big fight in the bathroom gets a little more physical and aggressive, even with some yelling.
Let the NYPD and the DA do their jobs, and trust me to do mine.
A good way of establishing one of the main themes this season: trust. It's what Matt lacks the most this time around, and he pays the price for it with Foggy's partnership. Oh, wow. Never expected a jump scare from this show, but I wasn't ready for it to be that loud. Ooh, that sound design and the lack of it. They're having so much fun with these effects, and it makes you feel that claustrophobia and fear of losing something vital, the same way that Matt felt as a kid when he first became blind. Also, the way that the video gets choppy here, showing how Matt's main form of seeing is fracturing. Such a good performance by Charlie Cox here, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't love the memes that came from this moment.
Franklin Nelson of Nelson to Murdoch.
Oh, so we're supposed to utterly despise her right off the bat.
I'm sorry. Just one sec. You wouldn't happen to have the number for the U.S. Attorney's Office?
I love how he starts off sounding timid and afraid and only slowly puts the DA in her place.
They're calling this one the Punisher.
Ooh, the dark score coming in as he says that. It's like the music's telling all the comic fans, if you know, you know. Punisher might have beat Matt with how cool his walk is. Actually, they're tied, yeah.
One that gets encrypted tactical frequencies.
One thing I never realized is how much time actually passes this season. Frank's hair is so much shorter now than it is by the end of the season.
What about the double barrel under the counter?
The Punisher knows all. Also, I love the progression of how giddy this guy is about all the money he's getting. It shows how greedy he is when he makes his final offer.
I mean, hold on, sure I can't get you anything else? Yeah, bondage, backdoor, or maybe you're in the market for something younger. She's barely 12.
Should have stopped while he was ahead, but I'm glad he revealed something terrible that was going on, especially with the fact that Frank also had a young daughter he lost. Makes me honestly surprised that he didn't kill him in an instant.
Overdue, past due, final notice. Hey, first notice. That's a win.
Foggy would be great at TVWins.
Fisk? And now this guy? I mean, what if I'm drawing this stuff my way?
Can't wait to see how the whole Karen murdering Wesley thing gets resolved this season.
She called him the Punisher.
Well, damn, he gets to be called the Punisher and I got Daredevil?
You think this Punisher could be a good person?
No, I'm just saying he could be any one of us.
I do like that Karen's trauma from killing Wesley benefits her this season, where she gives Frank the benefit of the doubt because she was also a good person who had to shoot her way out of a bad situation. I mean, it's not the same. Frank is a borderline serial killer and she killed out of self-defense, but she knows that even killers have more to their story.
Okay, but it won't keep you safe. I thought that's what you wanted me to do. We keep each other safe, don't we? Isn't that our deal?
Melvin being a sweetheart. Ooh, what a good focus pull. The way he doesn't even worry about how loud the dog is being. He takes his time and doesn't make any sudden moves.
Jimmy and the boys are unloading the trailer. We're breaking this down for parts.
I'm surprised such a glaring audio issue made it past post-production with no ADR being done or anything. I'm not taking a win off or anything. I just wanted to point it out.
Are we in position?
I love when superheroes do a little superhero stuff without the costume on. And it makes sense, too. He doesn't put his old mask on because he doesn't want to stand out at all.
These are your orders for witness protection.
It's legally binding until midnight.
Upon which, if not executed, they turn into the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
What?
It's okay. I didn't get it either. Please don't hate me.
Kiss for good luck, sweetheart. I'll take it.
Optimism.
So did you hear anything from Matt?
He said he's feeling a little better. Something about turning in early. I'm sure he's fine.
Foggy still doesn't love lying to Karen, but since it's been a few months since last season's ending, he's a bit more used to it. A set piece where it's nighttime, kind of raining, but also not, with more amazing fight choreo. Man, do I love when there's a bunch of quick and fast hits followed by a big finishing move. It's one of the coolest ways to end a fight. Ooh, man, that transition. First off, he's reminded of his spirituality right before he wakes up into what's about to be a long conversation with Frank about redemption, as if God's almost preparing Matt to talk confidently about why he believes what he believes. Second, the way we pan down from the dream into the shot of Daredevil, rotate right side up, and then pan over to Frank drinking from his thermos? Symbolism for Reyes believing she's above the law.
Matt promised Grotto we would protect him, so did I.
I'm gonna call Matt now. Let's see if he's recuperated enough to help us out.
Ugh, you can tell Karen's trying her hardest not to lose it because she knows Foggy and Matt are both lying to her, but she's trying to ignore it. Has to be a parallel to this, right?
What is that, midnight?
St. Matthew's.
Haha, St. Matthew's Catholic Church. Frank's talking to Matthew Murdoch, who Claire kept saying would end up dead if he kept trying to be a saint.
You know you're not the only one, right? Who did you lose? Huh? Was it someone you loved? Well, boo-hoo. Let me tell you something, buddy. Everybody's lost someone. Doesn't mean you have to do this.
The loss doesn't work the same for everybody, Red.
That's right.
I love Matt poking fun at the fact that so many superheroes lose someone and they still choose to be a hero that doesn't kill. And Frank doesn't have the most sound argument in return, but it's somewhat understandable. Loss isn't the same for everyone, and the Punisher is just a hyperbolic way to prove that point.
I think you're a man who can't finish the job.
Frank taking a knee the way the guy from the military would.
You know you're one bad day away from being me.
Ooh, the line that sealed the deal. Frank's right. You can even see it later in the season when Matt agrees to letting Frank kill someone.
Got this shift from hell because I helped another friend trying to do good. Big guy, stronger than our friend.
Is that a Luke Cage reference? I thought this season took place before Luke Cage season 1, so honestly, I'm not entirely sure. If you guys know who she's talking about, leave a comment.
Who the hell are you?
Frank.
Frank stays true to his whole no masks rule by not even giving him a fake name and being honest about his life in the military.
Remember my uncle used to tell me that all the time.
I really don't think Frank would have taken the shot here. He makes the point that he only kills people who deserve it, and he told this guy his real name, so he clearly doesn't really care for anonymity. Now, let's say this guy calls the cops and tells them Frank Castle's holding someone hostage. That gives the cops basically nothing. Getting Frank's address is pointless since he doesn't stay there, and knowing that he was in the military also doesn't tell them anything that would really help them catch him, so there's no real reason for Frank to pull the trigger here.
I think you're wrong. All of it. I think there's no good in the filth that I put down. That's what I think.
And how do you know?
I just know.
Again, Frank just can't make as solid of a case against it. Yes, he says later that what he's doing stops criminals from coming back, and that logistically makes sense, but he can't keep justifying that what he's doing is right, and he can't pretend that there was never any good in the people he kills.
I'm the pro bono suit you'll try to retain after you go down for this. Only not even my soft-hearted partner will take your case. Not because you're so badass, but because you're just that stupid.
I love seeing the growth in certain characters in real time like this. I guarantee Foggy probably wouldn't have been as confident to do this if it wasn't for his close call with the Dogs of Hell. Also, I love Claire's little glance, like, the hell's wrong with you? The start to another amazing oneer. After all this, with Frank killing Grotto right in front of him, Matt still saves his life, and I expected nothing less. This alone shows who won the argument. He knew. I mean, of course he did. Knowing his senses, it shouldn't be that hard for him to tell if a gun's loaded or not. A tried and true method to cover up different takes of a oneer, but with how in-depth they always are and the fact that each 13-episode season has to be made within a year, can you really blame them? I mean, they also did it last season, but it doesn't change how impressive the oneer is. Man, that switch off to the stunt double is immaculate. Again, the cuts almost just make this not a oneer, but the stunts and camera work is still impressive entirely on its own. I mean, this must have been borderline claustrophobic for the cinematographer. Oh my god, I hope that double's okay. I can't tell how real that might have been, but it looked like it hurt like hell. I don't know how Cox's stunt double did that stunt with the full confidence he wouldn't fall over the railing, but I applaud it. Ooh, Punisher skull.
It's Rory, isn't it?
Finn's so polite for telling us Rory's name because he'll be vital to the rest of the season.
He came over to make his fortune, and now look, 2 cents to his name.
That's not very nice. Is Finn a bad guy?
You know, maybe you've been out of the game too long to remember. Death is part of the deal.
Very poor choice of words.
Oh, yep, he's a bad guy. Never seen this part of Matt getting ready, and I'm glad they show it to us.
You're feeling better?
Now, with you.
Flirting.
You seem good at this.
Well, my brother wasn't, so
Never said you had a brother.
never asked.
Oh, he can crush on her all he wants, but he's got to at least show that he cares.
Often I would see him take whatever money he had, a Rolex watch one time, and put it in the collection plate, hoping for redemption.
For something that even some of the most religious people never do, you gotta respect Grotto giving what he can, regardless of if it was just out of guilt.
We rush to say, one life gone, but each of us is a world.
The more you think about how much a single life, a single world means, the more Frank's whole mission seems unjustified.
The guilt means your work is not yet finished.
Ah, because the devil's work is never done. Love that Punisher's motif sounds like a theme you would give to a slasher villain.
Oh my god, you think I'm insane?
Compassion. Stuff of saints.
Yeah, well, I'm no saint.
I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that.
I'm straight, I promise. I promise. Am I the only one who just feels a little happier every time Melvin's on screen?
This guy died?
1 minute, flatline, then boom. His heart starts back up again. He just didn't want to die.
Considering how stubborn Castle is, not surprised that he's also too stubborn to die.
I need to know what happened here.
God, I love this show. It's just beautiful.
Because of you, the uniform means dick. Cops are no longer preventing crime, we're just chasing it. Mopping up the mess that you people leave in your wake.
That is one thing about vigilantes and superheroes you never really think about. You make cops look useless since you're better at their job, but that means their authority starts to mean nothing, and that doesn't mend well with the law.
It doesn't matter. Because when we're done with them, he's as good as dead.
The saddest thing about Rory is his stupidity. I mean, the Irish abandoned him here as a loose end, and he's still loyal to them.
It'll be over soon. Yeah. How'd that feel?
Frank's insane, and I love it. Also, John Bernthal's existence is a win. I remember thinking the fact that Frank says this before he kills people seems twisted, but it actually kind of makes sense. Every time he makes a decision to kill, he justifies it, saying it's to keep people safe. And if the rhyme reminds him of his kids, it reminds him why he does what he does.
If I don't get my money, everything I've done to you, I'm doing double to poor Fido, yeah?
Screw it. Sorry, Matt. Some people deserve the Punisher's punishment. Frank's right.
Wait.
You know I gotta do it.
Wait.
If a Daredevil game is ever made, this has to be a finishing move you can do. Ugh, okay. Here's a win for commitment, forward thinking, and no fear. When the guy that already seems like a slasher villain is now limping like one, you know you're screwed. Ooh, Daredevil and Punisher team up. I love how casually he does it. He's like, no, bad Frank.
That rhyme, what's it mean?
What'd you say?
Frank never stops feeling like he's gonna kill someone. Like when he thinks he doesn't hear something right, he doesn't say, huh? Or what? He goes, what'd you say? As if I just spat on his mother's grave without knowing.
See, that part was always easy for me. Killing. Even watching my buddies die, it didn't mean nothing. I read her that book every night, but see, that was over now. She looked at me and she begged me to read it. I said no. My daddy's too tired, see? I'll read it to you tomorrow night. I'll read to you tomorrow night, I promise. The last time I see her, I'd be holding her lifeless body in my arms. Meat was spilling out of her red, the place where her face used to be.
Oof, the fact that he only stops crying and finds it easier to talk when talking about her dead body. He mentioned that death was easy, that when his friends died, he felt close to nothing. Death is easier for Frank to talk about than life, than false promises, than regrets. Also, I love the detail of Matt sitting down to continue listening.
You caught him, not me. It can't be me. It has to be you. Why? People have to know the system works. Not his justice and not mine. That's not how it happened. Then make it how it happened.
A really smart move by Matt and consistent with the themes of the show. He has to bend the law here to show that it works and prove that being an outlaw isn't the only way things should be done.
I'm gonna get us another round.
Thanks, Fog.
Wow, Fog? That's almost as bad as Foggy calling Karen K, or maybe something else, I think.
What's your brother like?
Aw, he's trying to make an effort and show he cares now.
Can I take you to dinner?
Yes.
This whole scene is just, ugh. Raindrops by John Paisano, the extreme close-ups on a single raindrop, just the whole feeling this scene gives you. It's just beautiful. Aw, even Matt can't help smiling to himself. Oh, was how I felt watching this scene.
German beer. Tastes like piss.
Like father-ish, like daughter.
Do you sleep well?
Not so much. You?
Me, yeah, sure. I mean,
Aw, Foggy's so happy for his friend.
last night.
Last night? I don't know. What happened last night? At Josie? With Foggy? Something happened? Anything else?
Yeah.
I haven't been here in a while.
A cool detail that shows us how he only started training and blowing off steam at Fogwell's recently. Matt's always playing it up.
Wait, you're saying that he murdered his family and then shot himself?
No, see, if that's what had happened, the DA would have put it in flashing neon if she could, because that supports her story that he's a psychopath.
So, what do you think really happened?
I love the way he asked that question. Throughout the season, Ellison is mentoring Karen, and it kind of starts here. The way he phrases that question sounds less genuine and more like a teacher questioning a student so they can figure out the answer for themselves. It's cool because it shows that he already sees that look in her eyes, one of a reporter.
Somewhere, Ben Urich is looking down. Getting a real kick out of all this.
It's nice that she's indirectly staying true to what Doris said about how she and Ben would have wanted a daughter like Karen. She's continuing his legacy in a way, and I'm glad they took that route with her this season.
Lady by the name of Jessica Jones.
I'll get there someday, I promise.
Oh, and you know who I bet is next? The horny one. It's Daredevil.
She didn't even need to make that a pun, and the statement still stands. Matt's just horny.
Sir, look, if I had to seem like I knew everything there is to know about wines in the next 60 seconds, what would I order?
You have a call.
The pure honesty he had when asking that question.
Okay, got it. No cornichon.
I wouldn't trust anyone to cut a block of cheese on my stomach, but wow, does Matt have truly no fear. This slip-up definitely wasn't scripted, right? I mean, that laugh felt like an actor laugh, but of course I appreciate Elodie Young trying not to cut Cox's mouth, and I'm sure he did too.
You know, I've always felt more comfortable with it than cheap stuff, you know?
Best thing about junk food. Plus, cheap stuff carries less weight, financially and in terms of expectation, so it makes sense. I mean, I'd be much more comfortable walking around with a $10 watch on my wrist than a Rolex.
Come on. I would love to.
Bet you won't.
I have this incredible ability to bring disaster to the best things in my life, and tonight has been perfect. And if I stop now, then I get to keep this one perfect night.
I guess it is the safe choice to make, even if it's a little sad, to just stop while you're ahead. The way the dialogue describes it, though, is perfect. Then you get this sick transition into the real reason why Matt can't be with Karen tonight. The crime, the blinding lights of police cars, and with all of that, the score turns from blissful to dangerous.
Nothing will stop me from bloodying the street with your corpse. Just like I did to your old man!
I love that Matt's punching form is sloppy. It makes it feel more raw, showing how it's coming from a feeling of rage more than anything.
That's why I loved you. That's why you loved me too.
You think that's what love is?
Oh, because he knows how love feels, maybe because he's secretly in love with Karen?
Hold on a second. Did you know I'd go?
My confidence was high.
You planned this. Everything you said in the apartment. I'm not sorry. You did the same thing over and over again. You just manipulate.
Matthew!
I also love seeing Matt more hurt emotionally. Even after years away from Elektra, she still manipulates him and hurts him over and over.
You can handle this.
Do I need to push you this time?
It feels like a moment where he changes his mind and decides to help her, but it also kind of feels like he just wants his mask back, so it's like, okay, fine, whatever. This season has this amazing habit of opening with the craziest, sometimes random things and showing their context in the main story, which only one episode really did last season. I mean, so far the episodes have opened with a news broadcast, the aftermath of a hospital shooting, a flashback to Matt as a kid, a funeral with the Irish, another flashback to Matt in college, and now a super hype scene of people riding motorcycles throughout New York. I love how we only slowly get closer and closer to Elektra's more traditional costume by the end. Not the exact same as the comics, but that steady blend of realistic and comic booky like Daredevil's costume.
Come on, that's enough. You've eaten enough.
Talk.
I love how pissed off Matt gets at every little thing Elektra does.
We just fought the Yakuza.
It feels weird hearing Yakuza pronounced like that. The pronunciation was Yakuza, and I get that most native English speakers say differently unless you're a cultured gamer and play the Yakuza games, which I haven't. It still feels weird though. It's like if you said Sasuke instead of Sasuke, and no, I haven't seen Naruto either. I'm so sorry.
The successful apprehension of Wilson Fisk.
I wear a mask.
How are you call mask that ass?
Compliments.
You want to talk? Devil of Hell's Kitchen?
Voice down.
Did he hide an F-bomb in there? It's not in the subtitles technically, but tell me this doesn't fit.
Kitchen?
Voice down.
Also, here you go. I wouldn't leave you guys hanging.
You want to talk? Devil of Hell's
You
Kitchen?
keep your fucking voice down.
More coffee?
No.
Love that trope.
Then you're gone.
Is this your first case?
Second. I won my first. Domestic violence. I believe in protecting women.
Thanks from all of us.
Representing Grotto might have complicated matters, but then again, all evidence of our work with him and our deal with you seems to have disappeared from public record. Almost as if someone didn't want it known that you violated a Whitpro contract.
But I guess Miss Reyes could just confess to that when she files this conflict of interest complaint. We have our case files to back up our story. How's your side looking?
I will never get tired of watching Matt or Foggy win legal arguments. This scene and an earlier scene in the room with Frank shows Matt taking the lead and Foggy kind of supporting whenever he can, which does a really good job of setting up Foggy thinking that he's not as good as Matt.
No, it's okay. We got this.
Whoa. Okay, is this officially happening? Are you guys dating?
Okay, I can't tell if there's a valid reason why Foggy's suddenly pissed off at Matt and Karen dating, when a couple episodes he was really happy for them. I feel like it's just a really sudden inconsistency with his character. I get that the last time he saw them both, they were just flirting and now they're like fully dating and kissing each other goodbye and stuff, which is bound to be jarring, but I don't know if it's something I missed, a moment where his attitude towards them might have changed. Maybe he's just mad at Matt because he didn't tell Foggy as soon as it happens like most best friends would. This isn't worthy of taking off a win, it's me being confused more than anything.
Miss Nachos, delighted to have you here with us this evening.
You know, I never pass up a chance to have my ass kissed.
Then allow me to be the first kisser this evening.
What a weird interaction.
We have to get him alone somehow.
Leave it to me.
I always love seeing superheroes in an espionage setting, and Matt is so smooth with it.
Did I get any on you?
Resourcefulness.
You were in my house.
You never went back?
Were you in the kitchen? The plates, were they on the table or did they get into the sink?
God, that's just heartbreaking. It seems like he's angry she broke in, but he just wants to know if his house is still how he left it. A nice reminder of how easy it would be for Matt to be a criminal, and a really effective one at that. I'll take any excuse for fun lighting stuff like this.
Don't move! Oh my goodness.
They went for it. I mean, anything for the mission, I guess.
Guns, ammunition.
You read Japanese?
Even more stick foreshadowing. Of course, a direct enemy of the hand would learn their rival's primary language. Imagine being someone so important that John Paisano loses his freaking mind on the synths when you walk into a room.
Good luck. Grow up so fast, don't they?
Okay, maybe Foggy's not as mad as I thought, just more surprised last episode than anything.
PTSD, huh?
We think it would greatly help with your defense.
It's an insult.
Lots of veterans
It's
experience.
an insult to them, people who are actually going through it.
Frank is a hard man not to respect. No. Frank's a man that's hard not to respect, regardless of what he does. Like he said, he's not a bad person. Obviously, he's not good. He does a lot of bad things, but he does them with good intentions. Man, just the worst way to land on that table.
30 stories up, Philip.
She's making a mighty good mess.
Say what you will about the hand storyline, Daredevil and Elektra have some great chemistry as a team and as a couple. Also, I heard the British accent there on the name Philip.
My only plan so far is to run away and open a butcher shop.
I'd watch that spin-off. Please, I just want to know. Oof, the hair pull? Yeah, the hair pull's gonna get you an extra beatdown.
Where did you go, Elektra? The last time we were together.
As far from you as I could.
Why didn't you come back?
Because you don't know what I know. Because you deserve better.
Ooh, even more stick foreshadowing. And with that reveal comes the realization that Elektra would never have re-entered Matt's life if it wasn't for Stick sending her on this mission.
He took the law into his own hands. Acted as judge, jury,
Executioner!
Mr. Castle is as much a victim. No, he's not.
Self-awareness.
See, Frank Castle never came home. He just traded in one war zone for another.
That's a pretty thick slice of bullshit there, counselor.
Funny thing is, nothing Foggy said was a lie, nor was it even that much of an exaggeration.
Vengeance is not justice. What he's doing is completely wrong.
But right or wrong, you can't deny that it works.
You really believe that?
I don't know. No.
The thing is, it does work sometimes, by technicality on a case-by-case basis. I feel like that's always the coolest argument with anti-heroes. Take Batman and the Joker. Batman refuses to kill him even though he'd be saving more lives by killing him than he would by just putting him in jail over and over. Like Frank said, the second you cross that line, it weighs on your conscience, and you can't go back from it. You might even be able to interpret anti-heroes as more selfless than heroes that don't kill, since they're too far gone to care about their conscience, so they do what, in some cases, needs to be done. Keep in mind, what I'm saying only applies to the world of insanely terrible supervillains that do insane amounts of damage any chance they get, and I'm in no way saying that criminals in the real world don't deserve due process.
You lied again.
I did, I lied, but look, the Yakuza...
You wanted to take this trial! Stop acting like these things just happen to you! No one's making you go out all hours of the night fighting bad guys, and nobody makes you lie to your friends over and over again! Elektra is not the problem, Matt. You are.
Ugh, you can tell how much he's been holding that in. Even with knowing Matt's Daredevil, Foggy is still being lied to, and as far as he knows, completely neglected by his partner, literally the other half of his law firm. Meanwhile, Karen knows nothing about Matt's double life, so it makes sense why both Foggy and Karen are so upset this whole season, because Matt has a persistent problem with not being able to trust anyone. A really cool way to end the episode, and this giant hole is just a really cool set piece in general. What'd you guys think of the first half of Daredevil's second season? Let me know in the comments. As always, you guys are an absolute win, and I'll see you soon.